So apparently we're facing some issues at the Las Vegas track. Now for some reason I'm not really sure why, I'm not really sure what's going on, but apparently there's a major issue. Shout out to Formula News today with the video. So guess what we are going to do today? We are going to check out what this major issue is. Now seeing some like articles, stuff like that, apparently it's supposed to be cold. Very, very chilly at the Las Vegas race. I think some other issues as well. I don't think people are really hyping it as big as it should be. So I think personally it's a very, very fun race. It's going to be, you know, in Vegas, first time in Vegas. Let's see how long it lasts in terms of like, is something we do for like a few years, or is this just a one-off? But we are going to see, we are going to check it out. As always, don't forget to like the video and sub as well. How you guys doing? Hope you guys are all doing very, very well, man. But anyway, let's go and check it out. Let's just see what's on, man. Let's see what this issue is.
The F1 circus has finally come to the place that we've been waiting for the entire year, the Las Vegas circuit. But while the hype around it is extremely huge, there are lots of bad news and narratives that circulate around this track before it's even debuted, with top drivers already dismissing that it's a circuit on which they would love to test out their racing skills. The temperatures on the track will play a crucial role in the entire race. And furthermore, it seems like the prices have skyrocketed to the point of the Las Vegas GP being cancelled after its first year. Are we going to see just one race here? And if so, will the most luxurious GP turn out to be the biggest bust in the F1 calendar? It goes without saying that the Las Vegas GP has created the biggest momentum in the F1 sport, mostly because, well, it's Las Vegas, and whenever something happens here, it tends to be luxurious and flashy. The streets of Nevada City have been remodeled in order to match the qualities that an F1 car is looking for. However, this is not your regular city circuit, and the demands from it are extremely high. For example, not only do you have new tarmac that is yet to have rubber been laid on, but the temperatures of the track are set to be 4 degrees Celsius during the race weekend. What this means is that the record that is currently occupied by the Canadian GP back in 1978, where the drivers had to warm up their tyres and race on a track that was only 5 degrees cold, will very likely be kicked from the ladder. This isn't, however, the worst about the drivers warming up their tyres. The track is more or less the 2.0 version of Monza when it comes to downforce requirements and corners. There is a long...
So, I'm guessing with the coldness, it's going to be hard for a lot of these cars to like really get going, really, you know, warm the tires, stuff like that. Because it's going to be so cold, it's going to take them like a tad bit longer for that. I think personally, we just got to see how it is before the race actually starts. Like, I mean, before we start making assumptions, stuff like that. Because who knows, like, maybe that's the main issue, but maybe the race ends out good, but I can see why people aren't really like, hey, like, yeah, it's Vegas, first time in Vegas, but listen, the championship is already done, the constructors is already done. At this point, we're kind of just figuring out who's going to be, you know, P2, P3, P4 in terms of like the actual driver standing, so you can kind of see why. But guess what? I'm going to still watch it. And we're also going to watch
main
it,
straight and very few corners, which means that the drivers will have a very difficult and limited time trying to put a lot of heat into the tyres. The reason for this scenario actually coming alive for the first time since 1978 is very bizarre. The organisers of the race had no idea that the city would be so cold in November. And we all know what a big effect the DRS has on overtaking.
Okay, that part I'm kind of confused about, because what do you mean? Because, like, how did people not know what the normal temperature is at Vegas around this time? Like, you know, do we not take, you know, do we not look in advance? Personally, I don't live in Vegas. I've never been to Vegas. I'm not really sure specifically how the weather is, so I can't really say too much. But you would think Formula One would at least have, you know, a hint, or have people who can at least tell them, like, hey, around this time, if you decide to race at this time, it's normally this and that. Does that make sense? That's just me, though, but what do I know?
So with the track having a lot of long straights, we are very unlikely to see interesting and anticipating defending moves, as the drivers would want to preserve their tyres as much as they can during these cold conditions that the race will offer. Not only that, but we might not be able to see the cars hitting a top speed due to the track naturally feeling like driving on ice at 4 degrees Celsius. So all in all, the situation is going to be quite complicated for the entire grid and the teams when it comes to setting up the cars. Ross Brawn, who has been in Formula One management up until the 2022 season and has been a part of the group that discussed the entrance in Sin City with the F1 circuit, elaborated on this matter even further, as he added, The one thing we hadn't considered initially, but the tyre company has dealt with, is that it gets very, very cold at night. So when the race is happening, which is Saturday night, it has been known to drop to 3 or 4 degrees. So it can be really quite cold, and of course getting the cars to work in those temperatures can be a challenge. The tyre companies have done some work to make sure the tyres can cope with that. We're definitely facing some new challenges which we've never had before, but I think it'll be spectacular.
That's what makes it fun.
Spectacular is something that every fan expects, mostly if you look at the price that they have to pay in order to visit this event. It's going to be the creme de la creme in the entire Formula One world, where VIP tickets have skyrocketed to $1 million for the
$1 million for VIP. Is this for the consumers or is this for just to make money? Jesus. I mean, obviously there are going to be people who do end up getting VIP passes, like, you know, celebrity stuff like that. But still, like, golly, man, like, jeez.
Entire racing weekend, when F1 announced that this circus would be moving to Las Vegas and we'd have one of the most extravagant races that the sport could have organized, the prices were, as expected, very, very high. The race was also on pace to sell out, but sales have effectively slowed down as the excitement for the lavish event has tempered. On the contrary, the local citizens started to protest about all the carnage that the sport has caused in the renovation and the preparation for the circuit. Prices have started to plunge accordingly, and now they cost around half of what they did once the circuit was announced, which, while you might think is good news for everyone who wants to visit, is definitely the contrary. The race has huge potential to be cancelled after the first year, and despite Ricciardo and Hamilton being extraordinarily happy about going here as it was on their wish list, drivers like Verstappen have shared their honest view on why the F1 caravan will race in Las Vegas in the first place. When talking about this matter, the Dutchman went on to say, "First of all, we are there more for the show than for the race itself. Looking at the layout of the circuit, I'm not actually that much into that. I'm more, I'll go there, do my thing and be gone. I'll deal with that once I arrive on track. I mean, there's still a lot to do. I still need to go on the simulator. I still don't even know the track, to be honest. I think the last time I tried it on the F1 game, I think I hit more walls than I was going straight. So let's hope that that's not the case when I start driving there."
As well.
It's going to be very difficult compared to Brazil. Very low temperatures and of course at night. We have no experience there, we don't know the track grip, it's all new, so maybe it will give a few surprises. It depends on whom and for what. In terms of racing spectacle, maybe not, but maybe in terms of potential partners for F1 and the whole show around it, but again, I'm not too into it. Yes, the luxury has been settled down in the previous period, and if you consider that the Wynn Las Vegas offered a $1 million ticket package including hospitality, box seats and a 3-bedroom duplex suite a couple of months ago, then the droppage of 35% in average is something that is heavily expected with the hype going down massively. And apart from the drivers, as I mentioned earlier in the videos, the citizens of Las Vegas have had enough with the chaos and carnage that all renovations have caused upon their city, which is one of the primary reasons why the grandstand tickets that were once $2,000 last year have dropped down to $1,060 as we speak.
So, if they decide to cancel after a season, they basically spent all this time building the track just for if it happens to get canceled after this season. So what's going to happen with the track? Because it's got to get used, at parts of this season. Is it just going to be for Formula 2, Formula 3, Formula E? Is it going to be used for other racing competitions? Like, obviously this was kind of meant for mainly for F1, but if F1 don't like it, yeah, I said F2, F3, they may use it, but are they even going to like it as well? Like, if F1 don't like it, I don't think F2, F3, and them will like it as well. I think it's just going to be a whole contingent thing, so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting just to see what ends up happening, really.
A bid to prevent fans from getting a bird's eye view of the circuit from nearby overhead bridges, the organisers of the race had installed privacy films on the glass of the structures, which ensured people on the bridges could not get a view of the Las Vegas skyline. What this essentially did was block the views of the roads used as part of the track layout, as well as the new iconic Las Vegas sphere, and the citizens were having none of it. As a result, they started to tear down the films, with footage of the action going viral on social media, and with the majority of viewers actually supporting instead of condemning the move. Now, what is the professional view apart from the one that's been shared by Verstappen? According to Hamilton and Ricciardo, this is going to be one of the most spectacular races that the F1 caravan could possibly visit in its existence. And when talking about it, the 7-time world champion was very hyped about it, adding, "It feels amazing to be here. I've been here a couple of times throughout my lifetime. It's crazy to think that a Grand Prix is coming here. I haven't done demonstration for a long time. So to see that there's an actual buzz around F1 and people will come out here just for this is a small insight to what we're going to experience when we come out here in 2023. Miami was held for the first time this year, which was amazing. Austin has also been a success and incredible with the fans there. But I think there's something else about Vegas. I think there's an unbelievable amount of energy in one little space. So this weekend when we have the race here, I don't even know how we're going to be moving. It will be the busiest time, I would imagine, in Vegas. The race will be incredible. But then again, we must not forget that this is a street circuit. Many of the drivers, as well as the fans, feel like the sport expanding on these kind of circuits is not what they need after having such legendary venues like Hockenheim and Kyalami in South Africa, which is something that a pure racer would much rather go to compared to where we are right now. What is even more interesting is that there's been a race in Las Vegas in the past, although massively different from what we're going to witness right now. But it still resulted in one of the most horrifying results that the sport could have witnessed back in 1981. The race had a total of 2.26 miles of tarmac to be covered, and the circuit was built in an astonishing 45 days, placed on a 75-acre plot of car park and scrubland between the Las Vegas Strip and Interstate 15.
Wow.
And since the Formula One's viewers are still massively from the European continent, the starting time of the race will be at 10 p.m. local time, which then again adds a lot to the luxury due to all the blinding lights that we can see on the iconic
That's 1
strip.
a.m. my time.
Trying to warm up the 18-inch tyres is definitely a challenge that the sport has battled with quite a lot in the 2022 and 2023 seasons. And doing it on what may be the coldest track in history of the sport is not what the cars need in times like this. Still, we're bound to see a spectacle, and whether it will be on the negative or the positive side, the race itself.
I think the race is gonna be fun. I think it's a very, very big thing. It's a new thing that's gonna have to eventually grow in people. But you can see Verstappen's point of view, because he probably feels like it's more of just a spectacle, just like a money making thing instead of like actual like a racing like competition. I think except for real F1 fans, like let me not say that, because everybody's an F1 fan. I mean, if you watch F1, you're an F1 fan. So let me not say real F1 fans. It wasn't sweet. It wasn't nice. But I will say this: with the championship already like decided stuff like that, you can see why some people may not be really too interested. And then I forgot about the time zones in general. So we just got to see personally. We just got to see it happen. That's just me. I think we just have to just see it happen, just see how it goes. But you guys, let me know you guys thoughts about the Vegas GP, the major issues that can potentially, hinder it. As always, don't forget to like the video and sub as well. Take care, stay amazing. I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.